the #1 genetic killer of infants nationwide. Stories such as Ryan Hahn's story is normal. Ryan Hahn was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy type 1 just at 4 months old. After Ryan was diagnosed, he began to fall ill, and Ryan's family ended up holding Ryan in his arms after he passed away just after his 6-month birthday. I'd like to share with you the important information and causes of this disease. SMA is a genetic disease that has 3 subtypes that can affect an individual's everyday life, and anyone can be a carrier of this disease. So Neuromuscular Disorders 2018 says 1 in 40 individuals are a carrier for spinal muscular atrophy or SMA. Many people unknowingly know that they have this disease or carry it. This disease could affect the life of your future children. Both of my parents are carriers of this gene, and I'm the 25% chance of receiving the gene. I have lived with this disease for almost 20 years, and I will continue to live with it for the future. I'll be focusing on 2 categories of this disease. First, what is spinal muscular atrophy, and second, the different types of this. So could you be the 1 in 40 who unknowingly carries this disease? To put this in perspective, a carrier of SMA could be 1 person in every Starbucks, 10 people on 1 big plane, or 20 million people on Facebook. Spinal muscular atrophy is a genetic disease that affects the muscles and the nerves of the body. According to Neuromuscular Disorders 2018, SMA includes a group of neuromuscular diseases characterized of deterioration of the spinal cord with continuing muscle weakness and paralysis. This is due to the homozygous deletion or mutation of this gene. So another way to understand this is the motor neurons die slowly and are able to send signals to the rest of the body. So whenever they're not able to communicate to tell the legs to walk, or your arm to lift it above your head, or tell your knees to bend. So carriers of this disease remain symptom-free. My parents did not show any symptoms of this disease or saw anything wrong until I was born. Most infants with the SMA are born seemingly healthy and have no immediate symptoms. For example, I was not diagnosed until I was 18 months. My parents did not comprehend anything was wrong with me until till my movements and actions to other children around me were different from my own. Spinal muscular atrophy affects the muscles of the body. From the 2018 Salem Press Encyclopedia of Health, the muscles mostly affected are those closest to the center of the body, so such as the shoulders, the hips, the thighs, the upper back. Special complications occur if the muscles used for breathing or swallowing are affected. If the muscles of the back are weakened, spinal curvatures can develop, so scoliosis, which is common with those who have SMA. Sensory, mental, emotional functionings are completely normal or untouched. My muscles in my shoulders, my arms, my thighs are all affected, while my breathing and swallowing are mostly unaffected, while other people that I know are more affected. Scoliosis of the spine puts pressure on these things that make it harder for people to breathe or swallow. There are 3 subtypes of SMA that are most common when diagnosing an individual. So type 1 SMA is the most severe form. As stated in the National Institute of Health in 2015, infants will be unable to sit unsupported. Their respiratory functions are compromised because of the weak muscles around the lungs. They have never been able to walk or stand, and infants are typically diagnosed at birth before their 6-month birthday. Infants do not live up to their 2nd birthday, but there's always exceptions to the fact. Just like Ryan Hahn in my story before, who passed away just before his 6-month birthday. Type 2 SMA is the 2nd severest of the 3. The National Institute of Health also states that infants have never been able to walk but are able to sit independently. Their respiratory functions and swallowing are compromised because of the weak muscles around the lungs, and babies are usually diagnosed after their 6-month birthday but before their 2nd year birthday. The majority of patients live into their adulthood. Individuals will struggle with daily activities. So as the years go on, examples are brushing their teeth, feeding themselves, drinking out of a cup, or reaching objects that are taller than themselves. Type 3 SMA is the mildest of the types. The National Institute of Health says that infants usually are able to walk, sit independently. They are able to stand unsupported also. Individuals will have difficulty walking, fall frequently, and have difficulty climbing stairs. Individuals are diagnosed around 18 months, and it can also be diagnosed into adulthood. The life expectancy is close to the normal population, but also with exceptions. I was diagnosed with type 3 at 18 months old. My parents observed something was wrong by the way that my neighbors' kids that were next to me, that how they were able to run up the stairs and how I wasn't able to. They brought me to my pediatrician and they referred me to a hip specialist, which the hip specialist referred me to a doctor in St. Louis Children's Hospital, and after that I was diagnosed with SMA. This type progresses and degenerates just as the others. Normal activities for those who are affected can change and become harder. So to put this in perspective, in a 6-minute walk test, Neuromuscular Disorders 2015 stated in a study that an individual with the subtype 3 of SMA was asked to walk as fast as possible in a continuous loop. The results showed that the mean distance of the participants could only walk 294 feet or under half a mile before stopping. With this information you have heard, you are able to know the more factual real-life info about SMA. SMA is a progressive disease that affects many people in 3 types. Type 1 affects infants who cannot sit unsupported or walk. Type 2 affects infants who can sit unsupported but cannot unwalk. Type 3 affects individuals who can walk but are not very long. Not many people know this disease existed, but it is very real. Many people carry this disease to pass to their unborn children if their spouse is also a carrier. As you process information, I do not want you to be afraid or scared. It does not affect everyone, and just like Ryan's Hunt's parents, they consider their child to be a light in their life, and they always try to see this positives with their other children. But yeah, thank you.